إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, today is the 15th lesson in the beautiful book of Shaykh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, the important lessons for the Muslim Ummah. The recommended morals for every Muslim are. So the Shaykh is going to talk about akhlaq and manners. Because, as you know, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُكَمِّلَ مَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I've been sent to perfect the best ethical values, the morals. And when Safana, the daughter of Hatim al-Ta'i, as you know, the Muslims, they fought her tribe Ta'i, and they captured the women and took them as captives, along with other prisoners of war. So she stood in front of the Prophet ﷺ and she talked. And she was very fluent, eloquent. Everyone was impressed by her speech. And she asked the Prophet ﷺ and said, I am the daughter of a man who helps the needy and he fulfills their needs. And when she was asked, who was your father? She said, I'm the daughter of Hatim al-Ta'i. Because she mentions the qualities, the noble qualities of her father. So the Prophet ﷺ, upon hearing that, he said, your father used to love the moral values. Set her free. She said, along with all my tribe, all my people. He said, along with all your people, those who are all the captives. Then she asked, when she saw the nobility and the generosity of the Prophet ﷺ, she said, many of our men, they sought shelters in the mountains. And I want you to come along with me to grant them protection and give them safety, assurance that they will be safe. He said, I will send with you one of our men, and that was Ali ibn Abi Talib, who went along with her. And she was sent back, honored, along with her people. And when they reach the dwellings of Tai, they shouted to the men in the mountains, please come down and you will be safe. And they came down. When they saw their families and everything and their camels and everything returned, they started to cry and they became Muslims. So these are the manners and the moral values of the Muslims. So the Muslim, he has akhlaq, he has manners. If you don't have manners, check your Islam, check your Iman, check your Tawheed. Because unfortunately, many of us, they have misconception. They have this dichotomy between information in their minds, totally isolated from practice. And everyone taps his heart. I am wahid. I don't commit shirk. And his manners are horrible. Horrible. And he thinks he's a muwahhid. He thinks he has perfect tawheed. Because he separates, he thinks that the moral values are not part of the deen. You have to understand, if you start to separate the teaching of Islam and the injunctions and the instructions of Islam and say this is not that important, practically, maybe you will not articulate that, but your practice, your attitude, your behavior says that. So you are cheating yourself. You are cheating yourself. Because if there is tawheed, if there is sound aqidah in the heart, it will be shown. It will be reflected in your attitude, in your manners, in your akhlaq. Your akhlaq are horrible. Check what you have in your heart. Our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, when she was asked about the character of the Prophet ﷺ, she said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. Have you reflected on that hadith? Many, they memorized it. Have they understood it? كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. What does it mean? If you want to see the character of the Prophet ﷺ, read the Quran. The Quran says, وَخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Lower your wing for the believers. The Prophet ﷺ, he lowered his wing for the believers. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. Those who hold their anger, the Prophet ﷺ holds back his anger. يسارعون في الخيرات. The Prophet ﷺ was the first one to race in doing good deeds. That's the meaning of the hadith. So where are you from this hadith? You think by just having or knowing the three types of the Tawheed, that's it? Rububiyyah, Uluhiyyah, Sifat, and without implementing and applying it in your life and manifest that in your attitude, do you think that is enough? Check your Islam, check your Iman, check your understanding. So the akhlaq, my dear brothers and sisters, they occupy paramount importance in Islam. The Muslim has a lofty moral, he has noble qualities, and he has the best moral values and the best character he should be. And that's how the Sahaba, they were like that. That's why the people, when they saw them only by seeing them, they loved them. When the Christians in Damascus, they saw the Sahaba, because the masjid, which is today called the Umayyads Masjid, part of it the Muslims were praying, the other part the Christians were praying. So when the priests, they saw the Sahaba, they said, they are a copy. There's no difference between them and the Hawariyin. No difference between them and the disciples of Isa alayhi salam. Because they were the students of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who taught them and brought up them. Today, students, they have horrible manners. They do not, when people, they see them, they are not attracting their attention. Students, Talabat al-Ilm in the past, the students of the Hadith in the past were totally righteous, pious, saints walking on earth. So the manners, my dear brothers and sisters, everyone needs to check himself. Has your character changed and improved in Ramadan? And today is the last day of Ramadan? Or you are still the same person? Foul language, temperamental, hot temper, liars, you lie. Check yourself. When the Prophet ﷺ was asked by the women, 3 of your companions proposed to marry me, Muawiyah, Abu Jahl, Usama. Choose for me. Muawiyah is Sa'luk. Muawiyah is very poor person. That's the meaning of Sa'luk, poor. So he cannot spend over you, on you. So leave him, because the husband has to take care of his family. Not as many of those ignorant brothers. Okay? He cannot take care of his wife and he wants to marry another wife. First of all, prove that you are a man. First of all. A man, not a male, a man. That you will look for after your family. That's why the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj." Those who have the ability, physically, financially, and physically. If you are financially unable, don't come and knock on people's doors to ask for the hands of their daughters. You are not qualified to come. You are not qualified. I am Hafiz of the Quran, so what? Are you going to feed her ayat Quraniyah to fill her stomach? Go and start working. So he said, Muawiyah is poor fellow, don't marry him. Abu Jahl, he beats the women. Though he's a Sahabi, don't marry him. Marry Usama. And he said, إذا جاءكم من ترضون دينه وخلقه فزوجوه. When a person proposes for your daughter, for your sister, and you are satisfied with his deen, his practice of Islam, Islamic teaching, is a practicing brother, committed, is that enough? No, not enough. وخلقه, and his character, his manners. Well, he is Harvard, he is the student of knowledge, he is this and that, but he has bad manners, disqualified, cross him out. Sorry, you're not my cup of tea, will not accept you. That's why when someone proposes, because some sisters, they are miskeen, they are naive. Sheikh, his beard is up to here, hitting his belly button. His throat is to the half of his chin. So, don't be fooled. How are his manners? So, you have to check. This is the role of the guardian, the wali, to do your homework when someone proposes. Don't be impressed by the way he looks or the way he talks. Do your homework. Ask, how is he with his family, with his parents? How is he with his friends? How is he with his colleagues? You have to ask. If you got positive report, alhamdulillah. If all those people who are close to him and they know him very well, and you have to tell the truth. And this is not riba, it's not riba. Someone comes to me, say, this man proposes for my daughter, and you know him. I have to tell him the truth, which he knows, he wants to know about his temper, about his generosity, about his manners, because I know him. So I have to tell him, and this is not riba at all, at all. Because otherwise in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was making riba, because he's mentioning qualities about Abu Jahm and Muawiyah, but it's not riba. When someone is seeking advice, it's not riba at all. So you have to tell. You know him that he is temperamental, he gets angry quickly, tell him so. And this will disqualify him. Otherwise your daughter will be suffering. Every minute he will flare up and shout at her and slap her and things like that. Mute, I think, mute. Mute. Would you mind muting? So, if you are told that this guy loses temperamental, don't accept. He's a stingy, tight hand, don't accept. And this is what you should do as the guardian, as the wali, as the father, as the brother. So you have to ask about his manners, his akhlaq, wa khuluquh. Two things should be fulfilled. He's religious, not enough. If he's religious, he should have good manners. Good manners. He has bad manners, question mark about his commitment to Al-Islam. And believe me, I'm telling you the truth, and this is bitter truth. Many of those who do not look practicing Muslims, clean-shaved, okay? They have manners better than the manners of those who look. I'm not saying clean shaving is halal. It's haram, shaving the beard. That's not the point. But this one, he has this sin of shaving the beard, but he has good manners. You find him in the first row in the masjid. And this one who looks a beard, practicing Muslim, you see him in the third or the fourth row. And he missed many rak'ahs. And this one is in the first row. Immediately after Adhan, you find him there. And he takes care of the poor families, and we know cases. So we should not be just deceived by the looks. So the Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, in this 15th lesson, is saying the recommended morals for every Muslim are: number one, as-sidq, truthfulness. A Muslim is truthful. He tells you the truth. He doesn't lie. Lying does not befit the Muslim. Does not befit him. The Prophet ﷺ, when the mother said to her son, "Come, I'll give you something," the Prophet ﷺ was watching her. When the child went to her, she gave him something, I think a date. So the Prophet ﷺ told her, had you not given him something, it would have been written a lie that you lied. How many times a day you lie to your children? We are teaching our children how to lie. We're telling them lying is haram, and then we teach them how to lie. Dad, give me money. Wallahi, I don't have. By Allah, I don't have. And he is seeing your wallet full of notes. So he knows that you are lying. And maybe he will take without letting yours. And you are the one who taught him to steal. Rather than telling him, yes, I have money, Sansi, but I will not give you, and explain why you don't want to give. I will not give you because you did this and that. So if you want me to give you, behave yourself. So the child now links, because I did something wrong, so that's why this is the penalty. So I should not do it, so that I will be rewarded. Always explain to the child when you discipline the child. I did this to you because of that. Not that I don't have money and you're seeing the money. The phone is ringing, the poor guy, the pure soul picks up the phone and he shouts, Daddy, Uncle so and so. And you tell him, I'm not here, I'm not here. So the pure soul answers, Uncle, Daddy says he's not here. And you put the child in a situation now, psychologically he's confused. Psychologically he's confused. How come my dad tells me all the time lying is haram, and now he's lying? Maybe for children it is haram, but when you grow up it is halal. So you are confusing the child. And you think it's not a sin? Let us analyze ourselves. So the sidq. What the sidq? The sidq that what is in the mind and what is outside, they are congruent, the same. The same. No discrepancy between what is in my mind and what is in reality. All are the same. I say something, and the reality, the outside world, approves of that. Not there is a contradiction between what is outside and what is in the mind. That is called sidq. And that's why in logic you can make a truth table for the statement according to the outside. If they match, what is inside the mind and the outside world are the same, then it is a true statement. If there is a contradiction, then it is false statement. So the sidq is that what I have in mind and what I told you and what I told you and what is outside in the outside world. I told you, for example, so and so died. This is a statement. It can be right, it could be right, it could be wrong. So we check it according to the outside world. In reality, yes, so and so died. So it is true statement. That is the meaning of sidq. And the sidq, because it is reflecting truth. What is said and what is outside, the same. So it will remain always. So how do you discover a liar? How do you discover someone is lying? Because every time he mentions what he told before, he will add to it. He'll keep adding. So you discover that he's a liar. That's why when they interrogate with people, they ask them to write things. And then a few days later, they ask them to write the same thing. And then they make a comparison. If you are telling the truth, it will be always the same. Whatever you write is the same. But if you are lying, every time there will be discrepancy, there will be mismatch. Because you cannot recall what you said before. But the sidq always will be the same. Always will be the same. Whenever you mention the event, whenever you mention the story, it will be exactly the same. That is the meaning of Sidq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah At-Tawbah, ayah 19, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. O you who have believed, fear Allah and be with those who are truthful. Those who are truthful should be always in the company of the Sadiqeen, the truthful, those who tell the truth. And there's nothing called white lie. All lies are haram. There's no called April Fool in Islam. You don't lie. Only except in certain situations when it is made exceptional in the battlefield to cheat your enemy and to tell your wife for the sake of compliment and courtesy that you are beautiful, you are mashallah, you are these things. Or to bring reconciliation between two Muslims who cut their relationship. So you come to this one and you praise his brother to him and say your brother is really sorry for what happened and he wants to normalize the relationship, and you also do that with the other one and you bring them together. That's okay. Apart from that, it is haram. So, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله. So you believe, fear Allah. Fear Allah. Have taqwa. وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. It should be always with the صادقين, with the truthful. It should not be in the company of liars, because you will become like them. You will be like them. So be always in the company of the صادقين. And the hadith, which is متفق عليه, عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة وإن الرجل لا يصدق حتى يكتب عند الله صديقا وإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور وإن الفجور يهدي إلى النار وإن الرجل لا يكذب حتى يكتب عند الله كذابا. The meaning. The Prophet ﷺ said, إن الصدق يهدي إلى البر. Truth leads to piety. Bir. Bir, all good deeds is bir. So if you are sadiq and always truthful and always tell the truth, so this becomes part of you, your habit, always to tell the truth. Even if the truth hurts, and it is true, the truth hurts. You don't care. You tell the truth. Because this will lead to al-birr. You tell the truth even if it is against yourself. So, truth leads to piety. and piety leads to Jannah. So صدق يهدي إلى البر. You want to go to Jannah? Tell the truth and be truthful. فإن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة. If you are telling the truth, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you to the a'mal of bir, the righteous deeds, and because of doing righteous deeds, you will be entitled to go to Jannah. And what do you know more than that? Because if you enter the Jannah, it means Allah is happy and pleased with you. And that's it. Jannah is only the reward from Allah. The way He shows, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is happy with you. He is pleased with you. So He rewards you with the Jannah. So, if you enter the Jannah, that means Allah is happy. Allah is pleased with you. Allah loves you. That's why He admitted you to His Jannah. Because remember, the Jannah is Allah's mercy. When the hellfire and the Jannah, they had argument and they were boasting. Each one is saying, the hellfire is saying, see whom I have, see my inmates, see my inhabitants, criminals, killers, dictators, tyrants. And the Jannah saying, the meeky, the needy, the destitute, the poor. So Allah said to both of them, to the Jannah, you are my mercy, you are my rahmah, and to the hellfire, you are my punishment. So if you enter the Jannah, Allah's mercy, Allah is happy with you. So if you want that, stop lying. So if you are used to tell lies, stop it. Stop it. And train yourself. And if you tell a lie, punish yourself, discipline the nafs. As one of the Salaf said, if I said something, I pay, I give sadaqah. Okay? To discipline myself. So truth leads to piety, to the bir, and the bir, which has no equivalent word in English. English is very poor language. And other languages are very poor. They cannot convey the exact meaning of the Arabic language. This is a fact. So truth leads to the bir, translated as piety, and piety leads to Jannah. The Jannah, the real home, the Jannah that Allah Azza wa Jal created, أعدت للمتقين, prepared for the righteous. أعددت لعبادي ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. That's what Allah said regarding the Jannah. أعددت لعبادي, I have prepared for my servants ما لا عين رأت, no eye has ever seen, So what is in the Jannah you cannot imagine. Cannot imagine. See the palaces in the Jannah. One brick is gold, another brick is silver. Can you imagine this? Have you seen any palace in the dunya built of gold and silver? Huh? The richest person on earth, what else? Maybe the taps of the water are made of gold. Things are coated with gold. Spoons are gold or coated with. That's it. But to have a palace made of gold and silver? No. And the cement between the two bricks is musk? Huh. Where you can find this? And the rivers of the Jannah flowing throughout the palace? Where can you find this? Can you imagine this? Never. You're in your bed, rivers are flowing, and the glasses are there. Wine, milk, honey, name it. Fruits are within reach. You want fruit? The fruit comes down, lowers, the cluster comes down. قطوفها دانية. The clusters within reach. That's the Jannah. You want Jannah? Stop lying. Tell the truth. And then the hadith continued, talking about the opposite. This is the reward for those who tell the truth. How about those who lie? Those who lie and tell lies. A man persists in speaking the truth till he is recorded with Allah as a truthful man. This is a continuation for the one who tells the truth. ولا يزال الرجل يصدق ويتحرى الصدق حتى يكتب عند الله صديقا. So a man strives and persists in speaking the truth always till he's recorded with Allah as a truthful man. When you mention his name, all the people they say, oh, who told you so-and-so? Must be true. Because you have the credit, the trust people, they trust you. And the kadhib, falsehood, lying, the Prophet ﷺ said, falsehood leads to transgression. And transgression leads to the hellfire. يهدي إلى الفجور. Fujur. Fujur, that means you commit different types of sins. You cross the limits. Fajr, someone called Fajr, he's a sinner and he commits major sins. So falsehood leads to transgression, and transgression leads to the hellfire. Because you are fajr, you are practicing fujur, and you are lying, and this is the fruit of telling lies. You'll become a fajr, a sinner, transgressor of Allah's limit, and this will lead you and place you in the hellfire. And then, because the moment you start to lie, then it becomes your habit. And get used to it. And there are many people known, and they tell lies to make people laugh. Comedians. So they lie to make the people laugh. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Wailullah, woe to him. the one who lies to make the people laugh. And people, they like him. He has the light spirit. Okay? He's humorous. The Prophet ﷺ said, Wailullah. So a man continues to speak falsehood, continues to lie, till he is recorded with Allah as a great liar. Great liar. Kadhab. He is known in heaven as a liar, and he is known on earth as a liar. And when you are recorded as a liar, you drop of Allah's eye. You are insignificant. Insignificant. So you end up, the person who lies ends up in the hellfire. He is known as a liar to the upper, in the upper assembly he's a liar, and to the people on earth he's a liar. If you say so and so told me, oh, forget about him. He's a liar. So the Englishman would say, take as a statement or saying with a pinch of salt, with a pinch of salt. Don't take it all. You cannot trust him. You cannot trust him. So you choose now which one you want, my dear listener. You want to be وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ and be with the truthful, and you want to be in Jannah with the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, or you want to be in the hellfire with the kuffar, with the munafiqeen? Which one? Until it is written that you are a great liar. So, let us wake up, my dear brothers and sisters. Let us wake up. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from such ignoble quality, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us among those who are the sadiqeen, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us our faults and mistakes and ignorance, and may Allah keep us remain steadfast in this beautiful deen till we meet him and he is pleased with all of us. Ameen. Jazakumullah khair. Time for questions now. Time for questions.
Yes. Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. Barakallahu feekum. Ghafarallahu lakum wa alhamakum rushda was sawab. Jazakumullahu khairan for valuable speech, and we hope inshallah we all will benefit from your speech immensely inshallah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the people who will be truthful inshallah. And now I request the brothers and sisters to pose your questions briefly so that I can read it out to Sheikh. Sheikh, one of the questions that we receive from our students and also from the common people, it is said in the hadith that it is permissible to use we can tell lie or something in order to settle the dispute between the spouse. ليس الكذاب الذي يصلح بين الناس. Sheikh, could you elaborate this?
Okay, this I mentioned today. I mentioned among the cases that are exceptional, it is permissible. It is to, in the battlefield, to lie against the enemies, that's okay. الحرب خدعة. Okay. So the war and fight is a deception, art of deception. To deceive your enemy, that's okay. Number two, to tell your wife, for example, you are so beautiful when she's not beautiful. This is permissible. Allah made it exception to strong the bond between husband and wife. And she knows she's not not that beautiful. She knows it, but she loves to hear it. Okay? So this is okay. Your food is the most delicious food. Okay? I love your food. Things like that. Because these things will bring something positive. Then to lie for the sake of bringing reconciliation. Two brothers, they don't talk to each other. So you go to this one and you say, Akhi, this long cutting of relationship is not allowed in Islam. And your brother really, he wants to normalize the relation. He wants to come back, and he always talk about you and mention you, and he only mention good things about you. And you do the same thing with the other party. And then you manage to bring them back to, and you bring reconciliation among them. This is permissible. Okay. So these are some cases. And it doesn't fall under the prohibited telling lies. No, it's permissible. Is it clear?
Yes, Sheikh. Alhamdulillah, clear and crystal. Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
So there is no question from the listeners. So inshallah, we are going to conclude our session here. Inshallah, we will prepare for iftar. Inshallah, Jazakallahu khairan. Nafa'ana. Ameen, ameen. Wa iyyakum.
And Eid Mubarak to all of you.
inshallah, Jazakallah khairan. Shukran, barakumullah. Taqabbal Allahu minna wa minkum salih al-a'mal. Eidukum Mubarak, inshallah. جزاكم الله خير سبحانك الله وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله